All right. We are live on LinkedIn Live right now, Jeff. We have our funky music playing right now, buddy. I hope you get down on this because this is the music I kind of grew up on. I don't know about you, but you know what I mean?
It's probably not mine. It's probably not mine. I have a little different flavor.
All right. No problem. No problem. Well, listen, everybody. Welcome. This is Laugh, Learn, and Eat live on LinkedIn Live. We have my good friend here, Jeff Lobb. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Just got back from 10 days away with the family and right back into the fire here. Let's go.
Do you ever feel like when you're like gone for 10 days, like you need another 10 days just to kind of recover?
Yes. A few people have said to me, like, you don't come back into work slowly. You just come straight back, like full day, 10 hours. I'm traveling tonight.
Yeah.
Got some stuff all week.
Hey, shout out to Pandora. How are you doing, Pandora? Good to see you on here. Always wonderful to be in an interaction with her. By the way, congratulations on your wins recently on your competition stuff. That was great to see that.
That's awesome.
So listen, Jeff, this is a very exciting episode. I mean, I always get excited when you're around, by the way. Just FYI, I was telling John about that earlier. I was like, Jeff's going to be here. Where is he?
It's just, yeah, let's go. I know I was a little bit late getting into the show, but we're
no
here.
Big deal. No, you're a professional, brother. You're a professional. So listen, here's the thing. So just so we can kind of set this thing so everyone understands what we're doing here today, right?
Yep.
I want to share with loan officers, the whole thing was I want to share with loan officers how they can get real estate agents in 2023. It's August 1st, 2023. We're more than halfway through the year, right? It's been a painful year, Jeff. Let's talk about that for a second, right? How painful was it? On a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, where are we?
I mean, it's a 10 being the highest. I'm going to say it's probably a 7.5.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say 8. You know what I mean? Like
7.5, 8.
Yeah, somewhere in that ballpark, right? That's pretty painful. And
it's just getting people to get back and do the work they're supposed to do. It's really it's hard to get them there, but we got to work 2 or 3 times hard to make the same or less money than we did. But that's what's going to get us through this.
Yeah. And not only that, but I always feel like when I'm in my sales meetings, when I'm coaching other loan officers from other companies, I'm kind of hearing the same kind of, Fob, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm like, I've heard that for 30 years.
That's right.
Right. And it's like, guys, if we're in a different market, we all have to acknowledge, like, Jeff, I've been in this since 1994. I know you were a few years prior to that, right?
86, baby.
86. I mean, good Lord. You don't look it, by the way. Just FYI, you look awesome. So, I mean, to me, I'm looking at this. I'm like, both of us have been in this industry forever, right? We know that we've never seen a market slow down because of inventory issues,
right?
Lack of inventory.
Correct.
So then we have to acknowledge the pink elephant in the room that this is a different market. So if it's a different market, you got to have some different tactics.
Do better. And that's half the battle, is trying to figure out what direction they need to go. Because the same old, the definition of insanity is just that, right? That's why we titled it this.
Right.
Same thing over and over. It's just not going to get the same results.
Jeff, I mean, let me ask you a question before we dive into your deck and all that stuff. Why do mortgage professionals or salespeople? Why do salespeople? Because there was a book about this, right? Spencer Johnson, Who Moved My Cheese, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But this is basically what we're talking about, guys. By the way, if you want a synopsis of what we're going to be talking about, it's Who Moved My Cheese, right?
Yep.
Why is it that salespeople have a tendency to keep doing the same thing, thinking it's going to work every single day? What is that about?
Because they get comfortable.
Oh.
They're comfortable, and that's what they used to do that always worked. And it's like the story of BlackBerry, right? Like, think about the BlackBerry, right? We all used to love our BlackBerries.
Yeah.
We never gave them up. We said, it's got a keyboard, these new devices without keyboards. And the two things happened. The consumer changed. Like in our world here, the market changed. Consumers changed. They said, you know what? I want to be able to see something really pretty. I want to be able to pinch and zoom. And if you had a BlackBerry and you tried to pinch and zoom, it was like you were trying to zoom out of space from NASA. It was horrible. And BlackBerry said, well, we've always done it this way. We're never going to change. This is the best. We're number one. And they never changed. And consumers did. The products gave them what they wanted and how they wanted it. And you know the story of where BlackBerry is today. And I relay that to, this is where some of the real estate agents are going to be. This is where some of the loan officers are going to be. And the same with our title reps and friends and colleagues in the title space.
Wow. That's a pretty ominous warning, by the way. Let me just make sure people understand that. That's a pretty ominous warning that you just got right now. I mean,
yeah.
When we start comparing ourselves to BlackBerry, I mean, I think this goes beyond the insanity then. This is more about saving our own life. It's not about, you know what I mean? Like, hey, guys, let's learn something new, because I guess here's the other thing. I was talking to Carl White, who's a mortgage coach, right? You know Carl, right?
I do.
And what he was saying was so interesting. He said, guys that are veterans right now in this industry are actually doing worse than the people coming in brand new in the industry.
Yeah.
And isn't that amazing? Like,
because bad habits.
Bad habits, and they're willing to. They don't know when the rates were 2.5% or 3%.
No,
right?
Guys hold at 14 and 15%. It's that was normal. We didn't
Right.
know. And I know it was high as even before that was 18 or 19. I was in the 14, 15 range. When it went to 12, we were like, oh my God, it's so cheap now. I'm like,
Right. Well, remember the refi boom of 93?
What was
I
yours?
think the refi boom of 1993, the rates went down like 6.5 or 7.25.
Yeah, boom.
And everyone thought that was the greatest rate in the world. And now we're at 6.5, 7.25. We're like, oh my God, the rates are so high. So anyway, look, this is not a walk down memory lane for Jeff and I. Even though I think we could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
I want to dive into this PowerPoint presentation that you made, Jeff. I think it was pretty incredible. So I'm going to dare to do something that I normally don't do, which is share my screen and see if I can pull that off for us. So here we go, Jeff. Hopefully this works.
And if not,
and let's see if it works here. Okay, we got it. And we are almost there. Hold on one second. I got the wrong screen here, Jeff. I'm going to
totally fine
here for a second and go back. Yep. And this is your presentation screen right there, buddy. All right.
Awesome.
I don't know what's going on. We're having some technical issues here. There we go. We got it. JP to the rescue. All right.
Yeah, so we could, we have to first talk about, we're going to be talking to LOs, I guess, from this perspective, but it applies to others, right?
Sure.
And I think when we started talking about the BlackBerry, yeah, it's a bit of a punch in the throat sometimes to hear that. But, if you're a loan officer today, you have to also understand, the very first question I'll even ask some is, hey, we're going to lose, when I say we, industry, we're going to lose 300,000 to 400,000, if not more, real estate agents in the next 12 to 24 months.
How many?
300 to 400,000.
300. So you're talking about if there's I think there's 1.1 or 1.2 million agents.
NAR had 1.6. They're up to 1.6 million.
Okay. So 1.6. So you're saying about a 25% loss.
300 to 400,000. Yes. And we've already saw that trend start already. We've already seen them because let's face it, first batch that goes is the people that got into the business that never learned the business, that cherry picked the business because it was just put a house on the market, sell. Everyone was zero. They're struggling now because they don't know how to stay in the business. Usually when the fees are up and due, they got to pay their NAR dues and I got to write 600. That's when they start tapping out.
Got it.
Others are going to be those who just don't adapt to this. So the question to a loan officer is, let's say you have a core group of real estate agents that are giving you business. Not only are they doing a little bit less business, what are you going to do about the 20 or 25% of them who are no longer in the business?
Yeah.
And you replace that.
Yeah.
So it's not to be fearful of it. Like any business, you plan for it, figure out the plan, then execute it. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to come up with the plan. We have the plan. We work with people that execute the plan. Is understand the first business that you're in. And people are like, oh, I'm in the loan consultation business. We come up with all these fancy. I'm a loan consultant. I'm a, financial advisor, mortgage advisor. We are not. We have to understand that the number one thing in the business that we're in is people, right? We're in this weird space, and you can click a few of the buttons here.
Sure.
People first economy, where everything is about people first. Those are the ones who are going to give you the loans. Those are the ones that are actually licensed realtors. They're people first. And when you think about that, you're not in the mortgage business.
So you're saying we're more of a people-driven business.
Always has been. Always been people.
So it's not the numbers.
Nope.
Wow. So it's not about rates. It's not about programs. It's about people and relationships.
Yes, I mean the programs and the rates and other stuff will come into play once you're working with the people who like and trust you first.
Got it.
So
Got
it's
it.
absolutely part of the process, but it's not the beginning because you know as well as I do when someone likes and trusts somebody or builds that rapport. I don't care if you were selling loans and you went to sell insurance or you went to sell life insurance. Like, I trust you. I'm going to give you my business wherever you go because I trust you.
Yeah.
So when you could build that first, we have to understand that that's our main goal. The mortgage loan product, that's the product. That's the actual product we sell. What we have to understand is we're in a people first economy. You know, the Amazon effect, which is instant gratification. We need
Yep.
everything now,
Yep.
which fortunately and unfortunately puts loyalty right out the window. If they
Mm.
can't get a hold of you this weekend, they're going to make a call somebody else because they're anxious and they're in the mode. And the WI in it for me business is what's in it for me. That's the challenge. Let's face it, real estate agents, and mind you, I'm licensed for 36 years, so I am one of them too behind it.
We have
It's
seen
very
the enemy.
selfish. It's selfish sometimes. Look, they're worried about themselves. They're not worried about you per se. I mean, I'm just speaking generically. There's people who have a really lot of great bonds,
Sure.
but for their business, they're always about what's in it for them. And look, for years, people just wrote checks like, "Oh, I'll pay for your Zillow leads. I'll pay for this. I'll pay for that." And there's people that just would pay for stuff and not even look at the leads. They just wanted the business that came from it. But those days have kind of transitioned because no one's got a lot of money to throw around lately, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
we have to figure out what the real problem lies. And when you start to figure that out is understand this business that you're in. So go to the next slide. We'll kind of share to understand that the mortgages and the mortgage process is the actual product line. So if you could figure out that, okay, if I focus on people first, then I'll build more relationships and probably 60% of your day, maybe even 70% of your day should be out finding new people to do business with.
Jeff, let me interrupt you because look, I have loan officers, right? And they're always out there looking for people, looking for, right?
Yep.
I have to say, isn't it important for people to understand that like you have to identify the right type of people that you want to go searching for?
Target them. Correct.
Right?
Targeting the right people is the beginning step of anything. Because last thing you want to do is find an agent who's done one transaction in the last 2 years,
Right.
and they will suck the life out of you for lunches and everything else. But you're not going to be now. If they're a rising star, and you could get that vibe and that feeling that they have potential, invest in those. But you got to find that gray line sometimes, right?
Let me ask you something, Jeff. You're a coach of these real estate agents.
I am.
When you're dealing with, say, a real estate agent that is not struggling, but maybe they're content with less than 15 transactions a year. I mean, what do you do to get that spark in them? I mean, is this something that the loan officers could then also maybe share with their realtors that are like, hey, you know what? I'm doing 1 or 2 transactions a month and this is good enough for me.
Right. So you almost have to kind of get into the whole, do they want to do better? There's some people you're never going to be able to coach and change. I've learned that there's some people I can tell till I'm blue in the face how to do it, why to do it, exactly the plan to go do it, and what to say and go do it. They'll just never do it. So you have to figure out truthfully, are they willing, ready, and able to change to be better?
Mm.
And if they're willing to, I'm all in to help. I'll help people grow to the highest level they want. I'll also, and sometimes we also have people that are at a real high level that don't necessarily need more transactions. They need more time and better systems to get some of their life back. So there's different challenges. But the ones that just don't want to try or just are content, I'm not sure they're coachable.
And what about the ones that said that they'll talk, well, kind of like what we were doing in the beginning, right? They'll say, boy, this is a tough year. I was back in 89. It was a lot easier. You know what I mean? Yep. I could show 7 houses and I could get a contract on the second deal or something. I don't know. I mean, something like that, right?
That's right. That's how it is. So when people tell me it's slow, or there's no listings out there. There's just no listings. Reactive and proactive. I make them go through the exercise. I'll say, listen, pull up your county and your MLS and tell me in the last 30 days how many listings came on the market. And they go do that. They'll come back and say, well, in my market, Jeff, in the last 30 days, I don't know, 510 came on the market. But 2 years ago, there was 1,500. Okay. So there's 500. So 500 and some people still said, I want to sell my house.
Yeah.
What are you mad about? Are you mad about that there's less, or because you didn't get any of the 500?
Mm, mm, mm.
And when they say, well, yeah, you get any of the 500. Why? Why didn't you get? So, and I break it to the simple. What do you mean why? Why didn't you get any of the 500? And the answer is because they didn't know them. So guess what your job is? If you knew more people, if you knew 10 of those people, you had a shot at getting a listing.
Yeah. So you basically have brought it back to the people business.
Those 500 some people called a realtor friend they knew, got referred to somebody that knew them. They're not known enough. They're not big enough in a brand. They're not enough people know them. Simple as that. Or you would have had a shot. So
okay. Yeah, that was good.
It's hard work.
No, I mean, listen, eventually what you're saying is so logical and so simple that it's very hard for anybody listening right now. I mean, I don't know how many people are listening, JP, if you can, I don't know, but I would imagine it's very difficult for anybody to say, oh, Jeff is wrong.
Well, look, if there were 500 people and you knew 10 of them or 10 of them knew you had 10 opportunities to get listings. Even if you got 3 of them, it's 3 more than you had now.
Right.
You're just not out enough speaking to more people. And you go, how's everybody going to get to know me?
But isn't there a flip side to that also, Jeff? If there is, let's say 510 listing, which somebody on this live broadcast could say, well, we don't get 510, we only got 37, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
right. 37. All I'm saying is this, guys. If I can have 37 or 510 or whatever that number is, right? But I have one client who's trying to buy a house, right? Yeah. It's not the gloom and doom that we're portraying is I think what it's coming down to. We have to kind of go back into our organic shells and understand that real estate and everything else is more of our grassroots level. It's not this national level that everyone is talking about. Is that an accurate picture there,
yeah,
Jeff?
It's similar problems, but everything's different at a local level for sure.
Yeah.
Everything's different at a local level.
All right, let's go to the next slide.
So let's move the slides along. So let's talk about this. If you start to stop thinking about the mortgage side of this, because we know, your biggest challenges for the most part. But when you think about this, when you finally do get to a real estate agent, you meet somebody, they're a decent producer. It's what do you pitch? Like, what's your pitch? What's your elevator pitch that says, hey, I'm so-and-so. And, most of the time it's maybe just short, small talk, just chit chat. But when people say, oh, I'm in the mortgage business, and someone asks you, why should I work with you? Most of the time, it's a feature benefit dump. It's because we do this in-house and we turn loans around quick and we underwrite here and we have the best rates and we do this, blah, 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 which quite frankly, a real estate agent for the most part doesn't care because they've heard that from 10 others, right? How about this approach? And this is how we built our entire company working with the mortgage industry. Is if you're going to talk to somebody about their business and genuinely say you want to partner with them, you should be able to help them or understand their 3 biggest challenges in their business. So let's go quick. And every market will be a different challenge. So in this market, real estate agents, the agent's biggest challenge, they need more listings, they need more lead sources, and they need better marketing and social skills to create more traffic and more branding.
Hold on. So I saw this slide earlier, and you were on vacation. I didn't want to bother you.
It's okay.
I need to understand social skills. Are we talking social media skills? Or are we talking like, hey, I'm Fobby and I'm nice to meet you, Jeff? That kind of social skills?
Both. Some are just introverts. Some are, I got into real estate because I like houses. Okay, you have to like people. You have to go talk to people.
I mean, once again, you're making it sound so simple that, I mean, you would imagine that if you're in a real estate industry, you're going to be a people person.
No.
No.
God. And you might say you're a people person when you're around people that you're comfortable with. If I said, and this is something we task agents with, go find 5 to 10 people to have a conversation with that you've never had a conversation with before. And it's as if I just ask them to get on a public stage and do a talk in front of 10,000 people. They freak out.
Wow.
Well, where am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? I'm not talking about email your friends. I'm talking about people you've never spoken to before. Go introduce yourself to them. Talk to them. Ask them if they have any interest in the real estate market. Ask them about how their current home is. Do they have any issues with their equity or want to know? Like, talk to them.
So the perception that we all have of realtors is that they're very talkative, very out, and I guess maybe that's just the top 5% or 10% of realtors that we're seeing. Is that
Yes.
accurate then?
Yes. Correct.
Wow.
And they will talk to people once they know them and are comfortable, but to get them to talk to strangers, which is what our parents told us never to do when we were younger. Now our job is to talk to strangers, right?
Yeah.
How we make our living. Talk to strangers. You have to talk to strangers because they live in the homes you want to sell.
So what we've identified right now for everybody following along, anybody just joining, we're not just dissecting realtors and their issues. We're talking about their challenges, right? The
Right.
three biggest challenges that real estate agents have.
Right.
And by the way, I would say this is a challenge that they're going to have in any market,
For the
not just
most
the
part.
2023 market, right? I mean, you're always going to need more listings, no matter if there's an abundance of inventory or not.
Correct.
You're always going to need more lead sources, and you're always going to need better marketing and social skills.
Correct. For the most part, yeah, there may be a few other, like when it's a buyer's market, you need more qualified buyers versus like there's some new one. But I was a big listing agent, so I focused only on listings
Mm-hmm.
to carry huge inventory of listing inventory. That was what I was good at.
Yeah.
I was terrible at a lot of other things. Don't get me wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but I was really good at that, which drove the core of my business. But anyway, let's go back to the loan officer mentality. Well,
Okay.
keep going to the next one. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
It's if you knew the agent's biggest challenges. Okay, so great, Jeff. They need help with listings. They need help, but I'm a loan officer. First of all, I don't know how to help them with that. Hold that thought. Then let's look at the other from a brokerage or a team. So if you want to get into someone's office or get to the team leader of instead of a solo agent, understand their three biggest challenges. Three biggest challenges. And I work with them all day, every day, and I've been on with them all morning. They need more agents that produce. You could call it recruiting, but the only way brokerage works is agents that produce. They need then the agents that are with them to do just more transactions. And they do need better systems to manage, scale, tech, lead gen, all that other stuff.
Right.
Those are the three biggest challenges. So those are the hot buttons of a broker owner or a team. Now, I'm building up this for a reason here. So let's go on to the next slide.
Okay.
None of them said my biggest problem is my mortgage rep. None of them woke up and said, oh, I think I need to find a new mortgage rep today. They're not necessarily thinking you're not part of their problem. You're only part of the solution when they need you and they get to that point. But if they don't have transactions, they don't get to you.
So I'm going to do something really odd. I want to go back to the previous slide because this is really key. This is really key, guys. Anybody watching, I hope you understand what Jeff just did. So he took us back and let me know what the challenges were for the realtors, right?
Yep.
He let me know what the challenges are for teams and brokerage shops, right? More agents to produce, right? All the stuff that we're right. And then you're capping this off saying no one is actually saying I need a better mortgage company. No realtor ever said that to you in all your years of coaching?
Well, they do when they get into the process. But right now, their biggest problems are if they don't have a transaction, they don't even need the mortgage rep. They don't need you. You're not part of that problem. It becomes a problem if you don't do your job and screw up the transaction.
Right.
But their three biggest is if I don't have a transaction, I have nothing to give you.
You know what you just reminded me of, Jeff? In 1994, I was out there hustling, trying to get new agents, right?
Yep.
And they sent me this guy that'd been in the business, I don't know, since like 1955 or something. It was like 94, right?
Right.
Been there forever. And I kept telling the guy that we close your loans on time. I think the fourth or fifth time I said that to him, you know what he said to me? He said, son, you're supposed to close my loan on time. You're a mortgage loan officer. Move on. What's next?
What's next? Right.
Oh my God, Jeff, you just brought that back in living color.
And I'm sure it's still being used, but I'm sure we have some savvy ones that are listening. So I'm getting to a really good crescendo of changing an entire value proposition.
Let's do it.
That will work. And I promise
Save me, Jeff. Save me, man. Save me from my own memories.
I know. I have a few myself. All right. Now let's talk about LOs.
Let's do it.
Three biggest challenges. You're probably living in them. There's a lot more than three, but let's hit them.
All right, let's do it.
So you need more agents that can give you transactions, first of all, because let's face it, there's attrition happening. Let's face it, it's going to happen. They're going to leave the business.
Mm-hmm.
So you always need to find more. Always need to find more. Even when you're super busy, you need to find more because some are just going to leave the business or, illness or retirement or whatever's going to happen. You need to always replenish. The current agents you do have, need to give you more loans. Now that sounds obvious, but if they don't have more loans, could you help them generate more transactions? There's a possibility there. Hold that thought.
Mhm.
And then you need to get good. Then, of course, here comes the product. Then you need some products to be able to compete, differentiate yourself, and be able to, uniquely enter a market with something different. Right. So
Right.
those three things are the challenges, because the same old, as we said before, doesn't always work. Okay. Those are three. Now you might have a million other problems, but let's face it, more agents giving you transactions. So if I found 10 more agents that gave me one more deal a month, that solves some problems.
Right.
If I have 10 agents give me one, but they all started to give me 2 and 3, that's awesome too. And then I also got to make sure I got something unique in my back pocket from product lines that get creative enough to help these agents serve their core market.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have that uniqueness.
So this guy goes back to what we talked about in the beginning. We have to target the right people. We have to target the right agents.
Correct.
Targeting an agent that hasn't closed a loan since the beginning of the year may not be the best target and use of my time. Is that accurate?
No, correct. Because there's so many of them that will just kill time. They'll kill a lot of your time. That's not going to get a good vested return.
In the mortgage industry, I'm going to share a secret with you. You know what we call those guys, right? Those are the donut eaters.
Oh, the donut eaters, we call them donut dollies, the deliverers of donuts.
Yeah, when we bring in the donuts, or we used to, I don't know if they do this anymore, but we used to bring donuts. It was always the guys that were like hung at the first box that you never wanted to talk to, because you knew that they were just always there just to get the donuts and go back to their office.
That's
or
it.
Wherever they
drop them off. And don't get me wrong, there's some people that may create some of that love with some food. Or sometimes if you do happy hours, you serve drinks, they will show up.
Happy hour is way much more fun than giving out donuts.
You can get a lot more accomplished when you're enjoying a relaxed environment. I'm not just saying drinking up, but when you're in a more relaxed environment.
Right.
So let's hit the next slide. Let me tell you, here's where this changes.
By the way, I want to make sure the audience understands. If you have any challenges that are not listed, please feel free to chime in. I know we got some listeners here. I know we got some people who are live, LinkedIn Live. We would love to answer your questions. This is an amazing opportunity to get, this intimate with Jeff Lobb, who's normally on a stage in front of a couple hundred people, so you don't really get this moment. So if you have any questions, please throw it at us so we can address them. So just want to make sure everyone knows that. Next slide. Stop being saying. Let me tell you a story about my brokerage business. Okay.
Yeah. So here's where this all came from. So let's flip the script. I sat in the brokerage seat for many years, ran brokerages, big and small. And I'm telling you, it was a loan officer or a title rep showed up on a weekly basis with their pamphlets and just we're talking, right? So, and the scripts of what 95% of them would say. They'd come in and they want to talk to the owner. First of all, they didn't even know I was the owner. They should know that at first. So lesson 1, know who you're talking to. Also, make sure the gatekeeper, you befriend the gatekeeper, because they're the one that's going to get you to the next step. But secondly, you get me. What do you say to me? And you're going to say to me, hey, I wanted to introduce myself. I wanted to come by one of your office meetings and maybe share with your reps, some of our loan products and talk to them about how we can help them with their deals and blah, blah, blah. Great. Well, what do you guys do? Well, we underwrite in-house. We're a local bank. We do this. We close loans on time. I'm always available 24/7, which don't ever say that. God damn it. Because if you ever tell me that, I'm calling you at 3 a.m. just to see if you answer your phone. Just because. These are things that are false. Okay, so after you hear that on a weekly basis for years of your life, there's no, why do I even need to invite you to my meetings? Because there's nothing of value. So now what if, let's flip the script. Bobby, you're the real estate broker. Okay, I'm walking into your office as a loan officer, and I already told you I know the 3 biggest challenges of a broker owner. You're the broker owner. Bobby, I'm Jeff Lobb with Homecomings. And while we do loans really well, 3 of the things we specialize in with brokers like yourself, and we specialize in this, is helping you as a broker recruit more agents to your office. We try and help get your agents more productive, because if they do more transactions, we both win. And third, we can help you with systems and marketing that'll help change a lot of the game of getting more exposure and more lead gen. Yeah. Can any of those be helpful to your business?
Yeah, it's absolutely a different way of approaching it, isn't it?
Now, if anybody would have said that to me, I'd have been like, so you can help me with recruiting. You can help me get some more transactions out of my people, and you can help me better systems. Tell me more.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Now,
and I'm gonna assume, Jeff, I mean, it's the cherry on top of this cake is that it's no cost to you, Mr. Broker.
Yeah, no cost to you.
I
These
mean,
are
which is we got to talk about that, right? Because there's like no cost.
no cost to you, not at all.
Wow.
And if you notice what I said, while we do loans really well, like we have to do our job really well. I don't have to tell you we close on time. We do this. Like we do loans really well. However, we specialize in these three things. And I know those three things are your biggest issues that keep you up at night.
Yeah.
And we can help you with that if you're open to a conversation. Now, most loan officers right now, because I've done this in front of live audiences, they raise their hand like, well, Jeff, that sounds awesome, but I don't know how to do any of that. I'm a mortgage person. How am I going to help them recruit? How am I going to help them do this? Well, in today's world, there's this thing called partnerships with people. Meaning, Bobby, you do loans really well. Truthfully,
Wow.
you do. I don't speak your language. If I need and I've been around loan officers for years, 37 years. Don't ask me to help you figure out a loan. It's not what I do, not my language. I talk to someone like you because you're specialized in that. You need help with real estate agents. I speak real estate. I can create all the value around real estate. I can create all of the problems they have. I can solve them for them and teach them how to do it. But if we're partnered together, we can do that together, couldn't we?
Yeah.
It's called a toolbox. You build it with the right people that you pull and choose who's your best partner to help you accomplish the same goal. Because now, instead of that broker telling you, hey, I don't have time for you, you have the same script the last guy did, you say, hey, I'd like to learn more. And then you invite your partner in, like me, together. You're the gateway to it. And I'll teach agents how to go find new listing inventory. We'll teach agents. And then guess what? Who gets all the credit for that value?
Yeah, the loan officer.
You do.
Yeah.
We're solving their real problems. If someone said to me, Jeff, I don't need any more listings. I'm good and I have more leads than I can handle in this market. Then you're probably not the right one for me, or you're just crazy. Because that's not very, very few people would ever say that.
Right.
But we together. So if I helped you now get in front of 30 agents at an office meeting, and we together wowed them with their problem solutions, we'll continue to build relationships through that.
Do you think that sometimes we're overreaching when we promise so much, though? Or is this a reasonable promise to make?
All of those things I know I can solve. Now, I can't force them to do the work. I can help them solve them. Well, how you can help me recruit, Jeff? Listen, I've helped people recruit for 20 some years. I worked for a company that was built around recruiting and got up on many stages to do that. And here's what we do. We run an event sponsored by you, the broker, that you're going to get to invite 10 of your top prospects that you want to invite to your event, that you want to potentially recruit. We're not going to call it that. We make it an event. You get to be the VIP invitee, and we're going to wow them for an hour of stuff, all sponsored by you.
Yeah.
Now you have a reason to invite them. Now you have a reason to talk to them, and we're going to make it so generic they're never going to know it's a branded thing.
I think my buddy Delilah Ramos, if she's on here, I don't know, but she calls it influencing people's decisions, not recruiting.
That's right. I love that because I hate that word. Like, who the hell wants to be recruited? Like, and I hear that word all the time. And like some of the bigger, I won't say names, but let's just say some of the big recruiting type companies, which I've done work for, so I know them.
Sure.
Well, hey, they introduce them like, hey, here's my 2 recruits.
Right.
What? You know how crappy you just made them feel? Like, how about this is John and Sally, 2 awesome agents, not like these are my 2 recruits.
That's so important to remember when we're actually in once again, I guess go back to the social skills, which you had mentioned on the slide, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like we do need to learn how to label properly so that we make people feel good about themselves and being part of our events, rather than making them feel like a chunk of cold body that just appeared, right? I mean, like,
and also these people work for me. These are how about we work together?
Yeah. My team.
Work for me. I might be your boss, but we work together. This is my team. Like, we're a team. Yeah. I agree. I happen to be the boss that has to pay the bills, but we're a team. This is my team. I always refer to my team because it's we, not she works for me. Like,
there was a guy that I used to work for. Over a period of time in 2008, he lost pretty much everybody, but he still held on to his CEO designation. I said, so exactly who are you the CEO of anymore?
Yeah, right.
It was just me and him in this office space.
100%. That's it. Yeah.
Anyway.
So here's the what if. The what if I ask you, the loan officer, what if your value proposition now changed to where you talk to a team leader, and instead of telling them all the mortgage stuff you do that everyone else says they do. Now, remember, if you said the exact same thing as the other 10 people, right? On the surface, they don't know the difference of who really is going to execute and do well and who's going to drop the ball. But you all sound the same. So differentiation is this, and this would be a challenge. I love to do this live, but I want you to think about this right now. If you want to be truly different, I gave you the 3 biggest problems of everybody already. So that would be my go-to on anything. If I said to you, take your 3 competitors at the same role and position you are from other companies. If they walked into a brokerage or we're talking to an agent, and they said, why should we hire you? Why should we use you? What would they say? And you write them down. Like, what are their things that makes them different? Write them down. Exercise. Boom. Write down this one. I know her. She says this. She says that. Good. Now, here's your challenge. I want you to create your value proposition that uses none of those things because you can't use them. They all said they're not different. Now, what are you going to say why I should use you?
Wow. Yeah.
And you can't use any of their stuff. So closing on time doesn't matter. I'm available 24/7.
Best rates.
I get the best rates. I get deals done in-house, local bank or national bank, whatever you want to call it.
Direct HUD, no overlays.
Right. And I bet you my 3 that I've used will still win because no one's going to use that value proposition.
So what you're really saying, Jeff, is this, and this is just me, right? Just by the way, I'm just kind of like free forming with you here, right? What you're literally saying is you're all saying the same thing. So it's like living in an echo chamber when you're a real estate agent.
Right.
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 Develop something that you bring to the table that nobody else brings. It might only be one thing, by the way, right? Jeff, it's okay to have just one thing, right?
It's okay to have one thing.
You don't have to have 3 things or 5 things or 8 things, right? It can be just one thing that you're doing different for to help the broker get to the next level of their career.
Right.
So bring some value.
Right. And the definition of value gets really skewed because I hear people all the time. Well, I give them list reports. That's super valuable. I bring them this. That's super valuable. Maybe you think it is, but if they're not even using it or they don't see the value in it, or just because it's a free thing you threw at them but don't execute on, doesn't mean to them they feel value. So what you feel is valuable. I hear people all the time. I have great email marketing campaigns that people love them. They're valuable as hell. And if I actually went and talked to those people, they'll be like, that's digital junk mail. I hate his emails because you think they're educational to them and they don't need that. It's not what they're looking for. So in this
we
case,
have a question that just came in. I want to read it to you, Jeff. See if we can help them out right now.
Of course.
When helping with recruiting, what are some of the ways you are doing that?
Okay,
so I think that's to you, Jeff. Right. So when
that's to me, recruiting. So am I assuming I'm a broker owner?
I would say that you're the one going in with a proposition, saying, "Hey, we can help you recruit."
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yep.
That was one of the challenges the broker owner had. Right.
Yep. Yes.
So what are some of the ways, I guess, you would be doing that if you were a loan officer or a manager or sales manager, whatever, of a mortgage company?
Okay, that's good. So I'm going to flip it to you. So you're the loan officer because that's your business. Your biggest challenge is, okay, you said to a broker, hey, we can help you recruit. And he's like, that's awesome. Now what? How do you do that? You're in mind like, I don't know. Jeff told me to say it. We have a partnership. Truthfully, we do.
Yeah, we do.
All right. And you put together a toolbox of someone like myself, some products that you have that are unique. So you say, great, I'm going to set you up with one of our experts that's going to not only help you recruit, but we're going to put together not only a live event, we're going to do a couple virtuals. And I'm going to give you, the broker, the empowerment to invite 10 to 12 to 15 new people that have never been to your brokerage before. And we're going to wow them on your behalf with stuff that solves their problems, helps them find listing inventory, shares with technology, all of that stuff. You get to be the invitee. It's all sponsored for you.
In the event that our audience doesn't know Jeff as well as I do, Jeff is a real estate agent coach, right? You're a real estate industry speaker, right?
Yeah.
International, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have an entire program of step-by-step instructions for realtors to follow, right? With accountability features and all that kind of stuff.
True. Yeah,
So
we
to
built.
answer the question of how do we help recruit at homecomings when we're actually using Jeff, which we do, right?
Yeah,
We're actually telling the real estate brokers, we're going to put you in touch with Jeff Lobb,
he
who
works for
then
us.
will help your real estate agents become better agents. And with that, you can add additional real estate agents to your team because you're providing something of value at no cost. Is that
Correct.
accurate, Jeff?
That's right. And
Now, if you don't have
every
a Jeff Lobb, you need to go find one,
well,
right?
true. But the other thing is too is everything that I do also, I don't sidebar and go directly to that broker. The broker needs to create the relationship with you.
Right.
So when he says, "Hey, is Jeff available this time?" Fobby, you're the one in contact. You're the one that's going, "Hey, let me meet the agents first. Let me tell you what we're going to do." It's always the loan officer creating the relationship. I'm just the tool in the background. Although I know that when we give them great content, they have a lot of questions. They don't just call me direct and start booking me separately.
Right.
Fobby
Right.
is the gateway to all things that you need help with that we can do. So you're creating that relationship.
Yeah,
Always
but in a more generic context, I want to make sure that the audience walks away with something here. This is such a golden nugget, right? That I want to make sure that they really understand this. When we add value to a realtor's relationship, right, it becomes a two-way street. It's not like a one-way street where we're saying, give me more loans, I'll close them on time. We're saying we're going to help you become a better real estate brokerage team. You know what
that's
I
right.
mean?
That's right.
And once again, we're doing it our own way at Homecomings Mortgage, right, through
Yep.
Jeff and some other components.
Yep.
Everybody's welcome to come up with ideas. The catch is, guys, is we have to create value in order to enhance the relationship to the next level.
Right. And maybe there's another tool in the toolbox that they need or they say they need help with that's not mortgage specific
Yeah.
because you got the mortgage specific stuff. That's your gift. Maybe they need something else. Maybe they need more of a marketing expert or a design person or someone to help them with their social. Like then we could find that toolbox to it be enhanced, but everything flows through the value of the
You know
loan
what's so
officer.
funny? In '95, I remember doing open houses with this listing agent in Arlington, Virginia,
Right.
and we used to give out this like $100 gift certificate to Nordstrom. Right? When you could buy something from Nordstrom for $100, right? I don't think you can anymore, but whatever. And then we did a raffle, right? And people would put their cards in there, right, for the real estate agents. And then what I did for Donna, right? Her name was Donna. I can't remember her last name. I would organize everything on an Excel spreadsheet and I would give it to her.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't have a Jeff Lobb telling me to give value to my agent, right? It was just something I came up with. That
Right.
if I could organize Donna's people that came to her events, you know what I mean? That was one less task that Donna had to worry about, and it kind of solidified our relationship for some time to come.
That's right. We have
And
to
so,
help them genuinely with their business if we're going to
right.
be partners.
So I
And
didn't have a Jeff Lobb back in those days, but I did have a Fobby.
right, didn't have a Fobby either.
Yeah.
And this doesn't mean just always live. Like for example, if you said what's another idea for that recruiting thing. So let's say we're going to host we're going to do a chat GPT session, but as the broker owner, you're now in charge of inviting people that you never remember. The recruiting process, that terrible word, is about if I call Mary from XYZ company and you use the same thing that we've been using for 30 years, like let's get together for a cup of coffee.
Mm.
Like I still hear that every day.
Mm.
No, how about like, hey, Mary, listen, we're hosting a really awesome event online wrapped around how to use Chat GPT for real estate specifically, which might help you get more listings.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to personally invite you to that. It's online. You don't even have to be there in person. Now I'm calling someone I want to recruit, and I'm offering them a value that like a personal invite. Just wanted to offer that out to you. I know you do a lot of business. I respect you. That's the beginning of the relationship. And then when she's done or they're done watching, hey, I just wanted to see, did you find it valuable? If I do more of these, do you want to be invited to those? And it's how you start the connection. And then we do the webinar. You're the broker. You're the one that's in charge of this whole gateway of value. We do the content, right?
Yeah.
So
once again, I hope that answers Matt's question because that was such a great question, and I appreciate you asking me, Matt.
yeah, totally.
The reality is we could go on and on and on about value that we can add, but we all have to learn how to add value on our own and what we can offer.
100%.
That's the key takeaway there. So
Cool.
we're coming up on the last 10 minutes here, so I'm going to kind of power through these PowerPoints.
Go for it. Yeah,
I want to make sure we get to this deck, and I know that you've also created some way where they can walk away with some of the information here, but
100%.
let's get this.
The toolbox we talked about, I'll show you some of my toolbox. If you want to see my toolbox, I'll show it to you as well. Hit the next slide. We'll go to my toolbox. We built a platform called Coach 52. Should be on the next slide.
There you go.
And we built this like with loan officers in mind or title reps in mind. They could bring this to real estate agents, and it's coaching and training and education for all realtors that loan officers can give to them and put them in the dashboard and connect with them on a day-to-day basis. Homecomings has their own version of this now. It's built into your platform, so it's magical. It's all built in. Content's fantastic. You can invite them to it. They log in, subscribe, no charge, right? So that's part of the toolbox. Get on to the next one.
Okay.
So just, this is not the end because there's one more thing, but I want you to grab my QR code for those who just want to connect with me. It's my digital business card. You may want to shoot me a message later. Or
I'm going to tell you something, Jeff. This is like the last slide. There's one more, but I think it's just the end, right?
The other important thing, though, that we never got to, though, is also that third really important thing that says, also besides that value prop, do you have a unique product? Do you have something unique about you that draws the attention for people that's unique to your product line? And I know and I'm still learning some of it myself, but you got this awesome product called C2K, is it? C2K?
Yeah. We have look, I believe C2K, which is actually called Cash to Keys, right?
Yep.
We believe that with Cash to Keys in this current marketplace, it is a game changer. We're seeing some phenomenal results with it. I mean, not only are realtors experiencing phenomenal results, but our managers are able to actually go in and I'm trying to use Delilah's influence other mortgage professionals into looking at homecomings in a different light, right?
Sure.
And so when we start talking about different programs and different things, I mean, Jeff, look, in a big nutshell, Cash to Keys is simply this. There's two parts to it, right? Part A, we do a cash offer. The borrower can now present a no contingency contract to the seller, right? Which is great, by the way. But there's a lot of companies who are doing that, right? So I get that. That may or may not be everyone's cup of tea. The one that I love is option B, right? And I hope no one gets mad that I say that I love option B, but I do, right? And this one is buy now, sell later. Okay, guys, listen to this. I mean, this is just insane. I don't really do this on my podcast, but Jeff's teeing me up, so what the hell, right?
Yeah, I'm learning as we go.
I mean, think about this, Jeff. If I said to you, hey, Mr. Homeowner, I know you're worried about selling your house because you don't know if you're going to find another house. How about this, Jeff? Let's find you a house first. Let's move you in, right? Move you in.
Yeah, move.
And then I'll give you 6 months to sell your house at 0 interest.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Literally, that's what buy now, sell later is.
Because they finally find the house, there's no contingency there, right? Because you have to remove that, but they could buy the house now. And if they want to hold out a little bit or get their price or adjust some pricing, they had 6 months to do it.
6 months to do it.
At no interest.
At no interest. I mean, you're paying the per diem, you're paying the escrow, but that's fine. You know what I mean?
I'm sure. Look, there's a value to that. Even if there's a small cost, whatever it is, there's a value to that.
Right.
Because I think of the convenience of a family too. But being able to offer that to a real estate agent is unique to get their attention, right? So let's learn, because let's face it, I'm in the middle of transacting a piece of real estate right now. I got 3 offers on one of the properties I'm trying to sell. It's got contingencies in it. I don't want any of them. So keep on going. But that's part of the problem.
But the other part also, Jeff, is this other part, right? That I've heard about where people say, Fob, I want to sell my house, but I need to do X, Y, and Z so I can get a better price point for it.
Right.
I want to paint it. I need to repair the deck. I need to do this. I need
Lobb, want to buy it now.
Right. But Fob, I'm afraid that the prices are going to continue increasing. If the rates drop, I keep hearing the news that the price is going to go up. So I want to buy today, but I want to repair my house so I can get ready for, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, Cash to Keys offers that with the buy now, sell later program. You know what I mean? Move in, fix your house, repair your house, whatever you got to do, right, to your house, your existing home, and now you get more money for it.
And get it
sold. So if you pick up, I mean, I know in my market, which is I'm in Northern Virginia, DC Metro, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the swings can be as high as $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I know some other markets may not enjoy that kind of, but this is what we get in Northern Virginia and DC Metro. So if I could pick up another $50,000 by doing Cash to Keys, I mean, why wouldn't I, Jeff? Why wouldn't I?
Because once you get that work done, you know it's going to sell.
By the way, I don't know if you saw, I just came alive and I became excited because I love talking about Cash to Keys now. But I don't want to bore my audience with this program, man. This is not what it is.
Well, let's just face it. We're just talking about, again, we're trying to solve the problems.
Yeah.
All of the problems we're trying to solve are simply ways to get their attention, that they will listen to you, they will partner with you, and they will at least give you the opportunity to sit down and talk to them because it's something so unique that it can help their business tremendously. And if it doesn't do that, it doesn't get you very far. It's really simple.
I mean, at the end of the day, I believe that the Cash to Keys program, any program that you can provide to your agents, like, look, in certain markets, maybe a tax ID loan is more important, right?
Yeah.
Having that availability, right? Maybe having a bank statement program is available. Whatever your market is asking for is what we have to be able to figure out. But we don't do that if you're always complaining that the market sucks, there's not enough inventory, blah, 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 blah. The rates are too high. I mean, we all get it.
They can't find a house because they have a contingency.
Yeah.
They won't listen to me because they're, it's.
Nobody wants to sell their house because it needs repairs. Well, just keep adding on, right? We could do that. 100%. The solution is where the magic is. That's where it all happens. You know what I mean? And none of us would be around today. I know, Jeff, you've been, like you said, forever. I've been in forever. I'm not trying to put me and Jeff on a pedestal, but we would not have survived this industry if all we did was just focus on the problems.
Yep. Yeah, I came through market crashes, like crash crashes. So
yeah. I mean, we survived 08. I mean, I feel like we need a shirt like I survived 2008.
It was bad.
and all I got left was this T-shirt.
That'll be a personal story one day. It's a whole podcast in itself, and I'll be happy to be full transparent. People, may not want to know where it all went.
Yeah. So listen, Jeff, we run a little bit over, and I promised my audience I wouldn't take more than an hour, and I don't want to break my promise to them. Dude, you are a very special person. I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you came out here and gave us this knowledge. Guys, I hope you got something away from this. This is really, really key in succeeding in today's market. And it's about thriving in the future market, right? It's not just about 2023. There'll be other setbacks in the future.
Yeah.
Find ways to differentiate yourself.
And by getting through this push of time, because really we're going to market ourselves through this time period. And you might make a little less. Some people are making more money right now. I got people making more money, but whatever. You get through the time and the market will change again, and it will keep changing. So if you're not going to adapt to change and be forward thinking about it, changing your value, changing your offerings, changing your approach, then you will be the BlackBerry. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. Watch it happen. And you do need to be way more proactive. And I'll end with this. You need to be way more proactive in finding new people to do business with a better value proposition, because you have to prepare for the loss that's about to happen of people that might be giving you the 1 or 2 deals now that won't be here in a year or two. So we've got to replenish that. And that's like a motivational thing to say, I need to go to work. Here's my plan. Now go execute it.
Yeah. There's not much more to say. You don't want to be the next BlackBerry.
No BlackBerries.
End of that. No VHS beta here, buddy.
No VHS.
JP, get us out of here before Jeff and I keep coming with more metaphors.
The block best.